Ashley Horse Training. I'm a Happy Horse, Happy Life mentor and instructor. And I'm here today with my horse Paris, and we are going to show you how to teach your horse to jump from the ground up. So the first thing I'm going to do is send my horse over this ground pole over here. It's a cavaletti, which is nice, so that means I can raise it up a little bit gradually. So I'm going to send her, and when she approaches the cavaletti, I'm going to leave her alone. Okay, she went over that. Now I'm going to have her stop. Wait a minute. If she didn't go over it, I would not put pressure on her anywhere from 3 strides before the jump. So if she was cantering, that's about 30 feet. Right now I had her just walking, so I'll adjust a little bit, but I'm not going to put pressure on her right in front of the jump. It's her job to go over it, and I'm going to teach her that. If at some point she doesn't go over the jump, instead of pushing her forward, I'll back her up and resend her, or I'll direct her between me and the jump and then tag that space between me and the jump after she goes through it, just to make that a little uncomfortable. So I'm showing her your job is to get to the other side, but going here is uncomfortable. Going over the jump is comfortable. The worst thing I can do is put pressure on her when she's nearing the jump, because then she's going to think jumps are uncomfortable. The human starts putting pressure on me, I get nervous, I get frazzled, or I don't want to. And that's the last thing I want my horse thinking about jumps. I want her excited to jump things, and I want her thinking, what does my human want me to jump next? So I'm going to back her up, and this time I'm going to send her at a trot. I need a more responsive backup. Good. Sent her there at the trot. So she went around it, and that was, she's cantering. That was my fault because I didn't line her up correctly. So she found the jump and went over it, but I would not say that was relaxed or confident. She kind of soared over it at the last second. She wasn't really thinking. So I want her to seek the jump and find it, but also to jump it relaxed. So I'm going to send her again. I'm going to go the same way until she can do that more relaxed. And you can see she's giving me a little attitude there. She's on the wrong lead, even though I sent her at the trot. She picked a canter. So that was decent in that she did seek out the center of that jump, even though I didn't have her lined up very well. But she's still unconfident because she's jumping a ground pole like it's a 2-foot jump. So I'm going to do this until she's relaxed. And she just blew out. That's good. I'm going to prevent her from rolling, though, for right now. There, I felt like that was better. I'm going to stop her, though. Good girl. Wait for her to relax. Not going to roll. Not going to roll. Nope. Okay, she's licking her lips. I'm going to back her up. And I'm not going to raise the height of this ground pole until she does it relaxed. So there she kind of wanted to pull, a little frisky. What a good girl. I like that she's seeking the jump. She's just doing it a little too rambunctiously. So the worst thing I could do is quit now and teach her, yes, just fly over ground poles. She should be jumping it appropriately, and really, she should just be trotting over it. Nope, we're not going to roll. Just going to send her. Sometimes they want to roll to come off adrenaline, and that could be part of it. That was better. Good girl. Think one more time. So when you're looking for relaxation, repetition and circles will be helpful for you there. If you're looking for motivation, straight lines and variety. So if she was kind of like, oh, there's no point in going over that pole, I don't really want to, and not putting in much effort, I would do a straight line and then a rest. That was great. Can you see the difference? She was way more relaxed there. So now I'm going to tip it up, and this cavaletti is pretty cool because I have different height settings. So I have 3 of them. I'm now at the second one. I'm going to back up. And I'm also going to change direction just for the sake of the video. Normally I would do both sides on the low setting, and then both sides on the medium and both sides on the high. Right now I'm just going to switch sides and go to the medium. But if I were you, I would do it both sides on the low first. Okay. So send her at the trot, leave her alone. Good girl. And she put a little more effort in there. That didn't seem like she wasn't relaxed. It just seemed like she was like, oh, that's a little bit bigger. I'm going to do it once more just to check it. Make sure it wasn't a fluke. I want her to understand my job is to pick the jump. Her job is to go over it. So there, she kind of went around it. I'm going to try to line her up better this time. She's thinking about rolling, so I'm going to sweep at her with my stick and string. What a good girl. That felt like a very appropriate jump for the size of that cavaletti. So lastly with this cavaletti, we're going to go up to the top setting, and I'm going to go back the other way. Just for a little bit of variety. So I'm going to send her out at the trot, leave her alone. So there's a perfect example. She went between me and the jump. So I flicked that space after she went through. She gave me a little attitude. What a good girl. And then that time she put in more effort to seek the middle of the jump. And that's what I was looking for. So I'm going to let her rest, but we're not going to roll yet. And you can tell she's a pretty pushy, dominant horse. She likes to move her feet. She's pretty playful, but also dominant. That's why she has bites and kicks all over her from my alpha horse Boca. Okay, send her again. And I'm going to leave her alone as she approaches the jump. I didn't have her lined up the best. She's kicking at the camera. There she's going to go between it. I just put a little energy there to make that uncomfortable. Try to line her up. Good! She went and sought the middle of that jump. She could have easily gone around it. And she's like, oh, I think the goal is to get over the middle of that thing. Okay, I'm going to let her relax. Come off that adrenaline from that little bit of a temper tantrum. And then we'll do it once more. Not going to roll though. Put her back in her parking spot. And I'm matching her energy there because she was pretty intent on moving. Okay, so now I'm going to send her. And I'm not going to micromanage her. I'm just going to line her up. Good girl. That was really nice. She actually underjumped that one. I don't know if you could hear her hooves hitting it. So I probably, if this was the first session I was doing with her, that would be all I'd do. I might have only done the ground pole. Because I know I've done that with her, I'm going to move on and show you guys the barrels. It's a little bit of a bigger jump. This one I've only done a couple times. It is hard for her. I'm going to first send her through the space in the barrels. There, that was easy. Good girl. Split. I'm going to back her up. Send her through at the trot. Good girl. And then have her wait. Okay, so now I'm going to put it together. She did that easily. If your horse can't go through a narrow space like that confidently and responsively, I wouldn't be making it a jump. You want to get them really confident in a tight space, because jumping, they're in a tight space by having the jump underneath them. Okay. So I'm going to use the same concept I did with the ground pole and the cavaletti. I'm not going to put pressure on her near the jump. If she avoids it, I'll either back her up and resend her, or if she goes between me and the jump, I'll tag that space after she goes through, just like I did with the ground pole. So here we go. Back her up. Back her up. I've got to match her here because she's pretty adamant about doing something else. Send her, leave her alone. Oh, what a good girl. And then disengage those hindquarters. So she did it. I would say it wasn't great. She wasn't super responsive. She wasn't super relaxed. She's kind of like, oh, there's something in front of me, I'll jump it. So I'm going to do it again because I'd like her to do that more relaxed. Good girl. There, I'm happy that she went over it. My send wasn't that great. She didn't go out and around. Just gonna back her out there, have her park, and come off that adrenaline. You can see the head tossing. There are some bugs, but I think it's mostly adrenaline here. So you can see if I were to ride her over jumps right now, she would definitely soar over them. And when I first got her, she wouldn't even walk over a ground pole. But I would not choose to ride her over a jump right now because she's over jumping things. She's not super relaxed. It kind of gets her on adrenaline. She's bucking, tearing around. So I want all of these things to be soft, relaxed, responsive, confident. And I just like her to stand out there. So I would like her to not only seek the jump and go over it, but do it relaxed, responsively, confidently. And right now, I don't feel like that's happening. So I'm gonna have her repeat the jump until she does it relaxed. So I'm gonna fix my send. So I've noticed when I send her, she's kind of coming through my space. There, that was better. Spending too much time flying through the air, so I'm just going to redirect her. What a good girl. Who needs a jump? So you can see she gets the goal is to go over it. She does not get the goal of doing it relaxed and responsively. That was better. And I'm not putting any pressure on her near the jump at all. A little bit better. That's looking better. Till that, I just redirected her. It wasn't about the jump. It was about, you're not going to look at me and be bucking and rearing. And there, I tagged that space just to make that a little uncomfortable. You can see she's got lots of opinions. She's a very dominant horse. There, I just reminded her to keep going. No pressure there. She chose the jump. Just going to go around it. It's okay. She's licked her lips. So I see a change there. Let's see if she can think her way. Just going to tag that space a little bit. She's thinking now, so that's good. Okay, just going to let her think. So this is the worst spot I could put pressure on her. She's trying to come off adrenaline. And I want her coming off adrenaline near the jump. That was really good. She thought her way through that. She's relaxing. And it's not about the jump. It's about the communication. It's about her being relaxed around jumps, confident around jumps, knowing her job. She was going over them, but not in a way I'd want to ride her over them. So I'll fix it. I'm just going to let her relax near the jump while I fix it. So I want her thinking the jump is a great place to be. And you can see her answer to adrenaline is bucking and flying through the air, which I think will make her a good jumper someday. But I've got to harness that in a positive way instead of flying through the air when there's no jumps. Okay, so I'm going to back her out. The backup is more responsive. I'm going to send her. That was nice. That's the one I'm going to quit on. So I sent her at the trot. She didn't overdo it. She sought the middle of the jump, jumped it relaxed, confident, responsive. Her whole attitude is better now. I didn't have to get after her about backing up better. She's blowing out, coming off adrenaline. It's easier for her to stand still. So all of those are things I'm looking for when I'm teaching my horse to jump on the ground. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of this before I ever jump her on her back. And when I do get to that point, I will show you guys. how it's going and how I would teach it. But I'm going to do lots and lots of this with all different kinds of jumps, and not only teaching her to seek the jump and go over the middle of it, but to do it relaxed, because that's the key. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe and leave me a comment, and I'll see you soon.